There is no time like the present, and there is no power system quite like Devil Fruits. Some animes and some mangas have a great power system, one that lasts almost like a lifetime, gets a cult following and a fan base that never abandons it. But for me, I would say my favorite of all time power system would be One Piece's Devil Fruits. Here's why. For the most part, when you encounter a Devil Fruit user, specifically one that's adapted and kind of just like tailor made to be the user of said Devil Fruit, like we run into time and time again in One Piece, it just makes you feel so much more identity and personality and even agency within just that one power. Take, for instance, Crocodile. He himself is a very dangerous and almost, I wouldn't say stoic. He's not necessarily stoic because he likes to show emotions, but he's got almost like that dry personality. And then you find out he's got the Sand Devil Fruit, you know? And let's go deeper into the story. You know, you see someone like Mr. 3 with the weird 3 on their head, and he can get pretty creative with his wax fruit, right? And then, you know, going further into the series, or I guess you could say a little bit backwards, you know, look at Luffy. Luffy's the kind of person that every time he whoops out a new power, you can't help but just have a big, like, smile on your face just because of how great everything he does is. I still remember the first time I ever saw him do Gum Gum Pinwheel. I knew there was something about his fruit that was just going to always attach me to Luffy and his freedom fighting style, right? And this video will contain spoilers, so if you're an anime only watcher, this might not be the video for you, so I apologize. There's gonna be spoilers up and down this thing. So anyways, why do I think Devil Fruits are the best power system in all of anime and manga? It's mainly because there is a system of checks and balances. You have your first check, which would be water. You know, of course, you have your outlying Devil Fruits that are able to circumvent water weakness, but those ones also come with the caveat of having an extreme counter. Almost every Devil Fruit that can circumvent the water weakness also happens to be able to get burned up really fast by stuff like fire, magma, what have you. But then, you know, you also have seemingly unbeatable Devil Fruit users who you're like, how are you going to stop them? Case in point, NL. Right? Some of you might know him as Eneru, but you know, he has the Goro Goro no Mi, I think it's the Thunder Fruit in English, or Rumble Fruit. He can control lightning. He's a Logia, right? He's able to become lightning, control it and manipulate it and generate it endlessly. Who would have thought one day he would meet a rubber boy, right? Get his ass whooped by someone who literally cannot conduct electricity. Devil Fruits rule because they allow such a creative personality in even the most boring type of users. I mean, look at Bellamy. All he does is bounce around, right? But because he's such an unpredictable person, when we first meet him, the bouncing is almost quite frightening. You know, like you see him doing like little do, and you're almost like, what is he gonna do? Oh my goodness. But you know, then he ends up getting wrecked by Luffy. But his fruit did have a lot of good possibilities and potential, and it brought something to his personality. It made him a more, and I'm not trying to make a pun out of it, but a more springy and bouncy person. You know, he was the type of person to launch an ambush on you after talking shit into your face, but also he was the kind of guy who would bounce at the end of Skypiea, or at the end of Jaya, and attack, you know, Cricket and Shoujo and Masura, you know. And what I liked about Bellamy and his Devil Fruit is, although we didn't see a whole lot of it, we kind of got enough of it for it to make a lasting impact on us, right? A lot of people love Bellamy, and I think even Grand Line Review released a video about Bellamy today, which was kind of pissed me off because I have a series called Side Piece, which I've stopped for the time being, but I was going to bring it back with Bellamy. So now I'll probably bring it back with someone else and then do Bellamy. Anyways, Devil Fruits, like Ace's Devil Fruit, like the Devil Fruit users we saw in Impel Down, where they were just kind of like taking over mindless beasts. All of these things about Devil Fruits are just kind of like too interesting for me to let go. I have a whole series about how I create my own Devil Fruits, and you know, typically they're more so oriented for D&D, but I could see most of these being used in One Piece, and I hope one day a Devil Fruit that I have concocted maybe Oda has already thought of and plans to release later in the series, I would love that, right? When we had the 5 devil fruit users shown, I was kind of like, damn, some of these I actually had, like, I thought of, but I didn't have that as what they were going to do. Like the whip fruit, for example, shown in chapter 1080. You mean to tell me you can whip inanimate objects and tell them what to do? That's amazing. And that's another thing. Like, you never know what Oda's going to whoop out of the breadbasket and just be like, this is the new devil fruit. Look at this one. Look at that one. The design of the devil fruits is fantastic. I love the way that they just look like an otherworldly fruit for the most part, or just a fruit with some swirls on them. And how even one seemingly as useless as Chopper's fruit ended up becoming super amazing for Chopper. And furthermore, someone else taking that fruit, any other animal taking that fruit, instantly becomes super interesting, right? But, you know, a human taking that fruit, we wouldn't know exactly what would happen other than they would become more human, or whatever Oda said about it. But after seeing what Chopper can do with it, it only makes you wonder more what could have been had Chopper been a human eating the human fruit, right? And then we find out later in the series that there's more types of human fruits. You know, you have Sengoku's Hito no Mi, and he's just a brass statue, which you think that would make him more so of a paramecia, like a statue fruit, but no. He's straight up like a Buddha god, right? And a mythical Zoan at that. And then another mythical Zoan, Luffy, for example, Sun God Nika, which Rock's review brings up a good point. Like, maybe Nika never actually existed. It's the devil fruit that's always persisted and been the real legend. Someone always takes on the mantle of Sun God Nika. But what if we get a reveal that Nika was a real person and somehow turned into a devil fruit via some sort of evil device or some way, shape, or form? Maybe his ultimate dream was to become a devil fruit, to keep passing his power on to someone. The thoughts and possibilities are endless, especially with the way Vegapunk has alluded seemingly to what devil fruits come from, which is the dreams and hopes of people. What if it's so simple as there is a tree that can, you know, bear the fruit of someone's dreams? We just don't know yet, right? He gave a very vague explanation of what they could be, and that there's such an, like, a, you know, a different, like, life for a human that Mother Nature itself is like, no ocean for you, no water for you. I don't like what you've done with yourself. Your blade legs, I don't like it. Your fire fingers, I don't like it. Your mochi body, no thank you. Your soap body, not doing it. I just love the way that it's, you know, like, you, first of all, the fact that you have to go out and find these devil fruits, right? That already brings a sense of purpose and adventure to whoever's looking for one. I mean, look at Blackbeard. He literally changed the entire course of the story by looking for a devil fruit. He found it on the ship he was sailing on. Like, you couldn't even ask for a more perfect story with him. And especially what we got revealed about from the Gorosei about Luffy's devil fruit, right? That they've never been able to capture the Sun God Nika fruit. What about Blackbeard's fruit? How is it such a coincidence that Thatch found that bad boy? You know how many people are sailing the Grand Line in comparison to how many people are out there in the One Piece world? Because it's like almost like a couple million to one, right? And the fact that that one found it on the Grand Line on the same ship as Blackbeard is almost like the Yami no Mi sought out Blackbeard himself. Hey, I'm here, buddy, and I got a prerequisite for you. Kill this guy who's totally unworthy of me, and I'll let you have the power of darkness. I mean, look, it worked, right? The craziness of someone like Blackbeard getting that fruit and then another fruit and knowing how to capture these devil fruits, right? We saw Burgess with a bag in Dressrosa with a knife ready to do something, and he knew how he could take Luffy's devil fruit. So let's be real here. That crew, and I already have a video on this on my channel, about how Blackbeard probably takes devil fruits. I genuinely think this man knows the science, which is another reason why I love devil fruits so much. I think it's so funny. You know, kill someone, their soul goes, or the devil fruit soul goes into the fruit. You just got to have a bag of fruit corresponding to the devil fruit. And that concept alone, I hope when it gets revealed that that is how it happens, how it works. We saw it in Punk Hazard, so now they just got to say the words, right? That's why I love devil fruits so much. And the expression of the user, which I would call user agency in a way, right? Like I bring up Mr. 3 because I feel like someone who is a little bit more dangerous than Mr. 3 would coat themselves in like impenetrable wax armor, make a wax axe, and just start going crazy. Instead, what he did was more like cowardly things with it, or he, ended up using it to support Luffy and ultimately rescue Ace with a wax key. These things are not like just so easy to do, and that's why I like how Oda created it. Mr. 3 was not a very courageous person, and he was not a very strong person, but that wax fruit made him a very deadly person. He took out Dory and Bragi, who are seen to know the Hakoku sovereignty. That's not just any attack. The only other people we've seen do it are freaking Big Mom and Kaido. And like when you think about it that way, Mr. 3 having that kind of feat is just, whoo, that's wild, right? Another devil fruit, Law's devil fruit is bananas bonkers crazy. I don't even need to go into explanations on how crazy it is. Kid's devil fruit, had he been a good person, this man could have probably had the easiest life in the world, but instead he chose to be a pirate and be an evil one at that and fail miserably. But let's talk about if he wasn't a pirate, right? This man could have already made whole ass trains, cars, locomotives in general, planes. He could have been the first person to make a plane, right? He could have easily been someone to make the newest weapon. Here, look, this is a Kid original. How did you make this? Don't worry about it, buddy. And, he goes into the back of his lab and just slaps some weapons together and sells them. Regardless, devil fruits offer a wide variety of powers and a wide variety of support options. Look at Mon Cherie and her heal fruit. Stuff like that is just amazing. I love the way it works, right? You get the devil fruit, you are limited to this power set. However, you can express further powers by, either knowing more about yourself or somehow, Oda just breaks the rules of concepts in general. Suru, for example, and her granddaughter are two prime examples of that. And even Khalifa of CP9 and I guess CP0 if you saw Film Red. Those devil fruits are more like concepts with a caveat attached to them. She's a laundry human, Suru, and Khalifa is a soap woman that can wipe your strength away. Suru wipes your evil away, and I guess Kojaku takes your will away. And I think stuff like that is just phenomenal and fun. You got Queen out here, the dragon fruit model Brachiosaurus, and he's showing you the ancient power of a brachiosaur, and he's launching his torso from his body, and it's, kind of stated that it's not part of his cyborg enhancements. It's just so weird, Stuff like that is fantastic, and that's why devil fruits are just the best. I mean, you got Kaido, who is just Shenron from Dragon Ball Z, but, the other version, like the dragon of, I think Kaido is the dragon of the West. I'm probably wrong on that, but I like his Boro Blast or Boro Breath. I like the way his giant dragon looks and the things he did with the fruit. He was ultimately set up to be defeated. He's a villain, but that doesn't make anything he did less cool, I just didn't like the excessive amount of whining and drinking he did. That, to me, actively took away from my like of Kaido. But that's neither here nor there. You got guys like Whitebeard, right? The guy with the ability to break the world, or whatever Sengoku said. But it's true. Whitebeard was most likely awakened because that thing he did when he put up all the tectonic plates and made them shift and all crazy like that, that's not normal. Not all devil fruits do that. That has to be an awakening, and I refuse to hear otherwise. Doflamingo, Katakuri, two amazing awakened users. That what they were doing to Luffy was just next level fun. The birdcage is one of the best powers to this day. I have not seen anyone do something as cool as that. I'm sorry. When you can lock down a whole country and control what happens until the birdcage is over, or everyone dies and has to meet your demands to not die, fantastic power. Sorry it's used for evil, but damn, that's an amazing power. Magellan, like, the thing about devil fruits is that they're not exclusive to being useless, because you can't, like Rob Lucci said, no matter what happens, you will become stronger. And what did Kaku do? He became stronger as a giraffe monster. That's so absurd and hilarious and amazing. So, at the risk of becoming redundant, I'm probably just going to cut the video here. Devil fruits are awesome, and what I like about One Piece is the fact that devil fruits kind of just make the world go round, right? Of course, a hockey user trained well enough can stop a Devil Fruit user in his tracks. We saw this with Law and Dot Q and Kaido and Luffy. But for the most part, a Devil Fruit really can make or break a chapter in One Piece. And for people who watch it, watch this content for D&D usage, just think about how the Devil Fruit will shape your campaign going forward. Whatever you allow your players to use in it, especially if you're the DM, right? Devil Fruits are just phenomenal. They offer a unique way to express a weird concept in power in a way that typically is not done in anime outside of One Piece. Nen might be close, right? But even then, not really, because Nen has different powers and stringent restrictions on it. And I just don't see an anime topping the power system of a Devil Fruit. So I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. This is why I love One Piece, because Devil Fruits are so freaking cool. Have a nice night, everyone.